Members of the jury, I think we'll go for about another hour and 15 minutes, and then we'll reset for the day.
Okay, now you mentioned before we took a break that those 3 trash bags, you started going through them at Chili Street, and then you ultimately took them back to KPD, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you finished inventory of them back there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's look at these pictures. You took pictures as you went through the bag?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. So exhibit 130, which bag is that?
That's number 1.
And you moved it away from the...
Yes, sir. We moved it away from the trash can so we could remove the trash can to the medical examiner's office.
So what was done with the garbage can with Miss Christian's body in it?
I had a tarp in my truck. We wrapped it and sealed it. And then Investigator Daniel, Dr. Malusnik, and Technician Lance Curtis took control of the trash can with the body in it and took it back to the forensic center.
All together?
Yes, sir.
Trash can.
Yes, sir. It was sealed. The only time it was opened when they opened it for me to photograph it and take the video. And then we sealed it and took it back, and they took it to an ambulance took it to the forensic center for them. And they followed it there to secure it.
Circle 132?
Yes, sir.
That's a trash bag number 1?
Yes, sir. That's the one that was right in front of the garbage can.
133?
Yes. I was just showing the inside of it, and that's the cloth that was seen earlier.
The floral fabric?
Yes, sir.
134?
That's just a close-up of what's in there with the floral fabric there.
135?
And I think that's a pay sheet for a hospital, and that's a purse.
136?
Those are receipts for, I believe, a Sunspot restaurant.
137?
Yes, sir. That's just getting closer to that.
138?
And there's a purse that was in the garbage can, the garbage bag, I'm sorry.
139?
And there's a time pay adjustment for Shannon Christian that was in that garbage bag.
140?
I'm just looking at other items in the garbage bag. There's a baseball hat there and there's shoes.
141?
That's another look at the shoes taken out of the shoebox.
142?
That's a pair of shoes that were in the shoebox.
What kind of shoes are those?
Golf shoes.
Golf?
Yes, sir.
142, okay. 143?
Just other items in the garbage bag.
144?
That's a pay stub in the garbage bag.
145?
Shoe show pay stub.
146?
B&F construction hat that was in that garbage bag.
147?
Just some kind of fabric there and other items that were in the garbage bag.
148?
That's just an ID card that was in the garbage bag with CD and other items. And there's that fabric again.
149?
And that's a Blockbuster card for Deanna Christian at the Blockbuster at 1027 North Cedar Bluff Road.
150?
It's a can of tobacco, Copenhagen.
151?
That's that fabric we're looking at a minute ago. It's a bikini bottom.
152?
And there's a picture that was in that garbage bag. There's a close-up of that picture.
154?
And the CD, one of the CDs that was in the garbage bag is Shannon's Boat Wrap.
155?
That's just a close-up of that CD.
All right, so 156 where we start back at the police station?
Yes, sir. You can tell that's a police station from the carpet. The towel's no longer there. And those are just items that were taken.
That's all from trash bag number 1?
Yes, sir.
157,
Just, I love you, Shan. I don't know who wrote that, but different pieces of jewelry also.
158,
Just different items, the purse again from the bag. And
159,
I love you, Shan letter from Ringworm.
160,
Another I love you, Shan, have a good day from Lindsay to KUB. Another receipts.
161,
Just the drug bottle and the two baseball hats of B&F Construction, and the one we saw first, it has the Tennessee T on it. And then the bikini panties again.
okay.
There are the bikini panties.
162,
And there are 2 garbage bags from the utility or rear room again. The back one was mostly garbage and the front one was mostly clothes.
so this one right here is number 2, column number 2.
Yes, sir. And then just towel on top and the water or milk jug on. You can see the towel and the milk jug from the top of the bag.
Okay, 164,
And I said earlier, we packaged all these bags so we could carry them out securely. And the biggest bags I had were the biohazard bags. So we put them in there and sealed them and took them back to the police department. And that's what you see there, the red bag. And we're starting going through the trash bag again. And there's that floral pattern sheet or fabric.
166,
And that's a close-up of it.
167,
The floral pattern sheets out, there's a container we're talking about, and then another towel you can see from the top of the bag, and other items that were in the garbage bag.
and what's this item right here?
That's a bottle of bleach, an empty bottle of bleach.
168, again, those 2 bags.
Yes, sir.
Going through the number 3 now, the lower one.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, that was 168.
That's
So this is number 3, we're going through,
Yes, sir.
169,
yes, sir, with the clothes.
all right, 170,
Pair of blue jeans. And it's
171,
Timberland t-shirt.
172,
Another pair of pants. And just another pair of pants. More pants. And shorts. A shirt. A sweater. And a small dress. Another sweater. Some more pants. A shirt. Another pair of shorts, the sheet that we've talked about before,
that was 183, 184,
the top, another t-shirt,
185,
and there's
186.
the purse again.
Okay, this,
There's a white fabric on top of the purse, or in the purse on top of the other items.
187,
Just looking closer at the white sheet with the red stain on it. That's just looking into the purse, and there's a burned cell phone,
189,
a burned Tennessee driver's license.
190,
There are the items in the purse that are laid out.
191,
Closer view of what was in the purse.
192,
A pair of shorts and a journey's bag, Parliament cigarette pack, and other items.
thank you. Let me show you some, you also, after you documented the scene, confiscated some physical exhibits.
Yes, sir.
Actually, show you some exhibits and see if you can identify them. .315 already, I believe, in evidence. Ask if you recognize that, 315?
May I see the bag, please?
Yeah.
There were blue jeans taken from Chipman Street and sent to TBI, the Big Star blue jeans.
Big Star blue jeans, those are one of the jeans in the jeans, in one of the trash bags?
Yes, sir.
Show you 324. You mentioned a white cloth strip.
Yes, sir.
In the gray purse.
Yes, sir.
Show you 324 here. Ask if you recognize it.
Yes, sir, that's it. You can still see the stains on it.
But over that, 324. The evidence. Show you 321. Is that your writing on 321?
Yes, sir.
Show you 321. Ask if you recognize what that is.
Yes, sir, that's the piece of sheet that was in the garbage bag on the utility, in the back rear room or utility room.
Off 321. These are in plastic bags. Check that. Look at 351, and that's in a plastic bag. You pull it out.
That's the shoe show paste up that we saw in the slideshow.
Was that in one of the trash bags?
Yes, sir, it was.
I think that was introduced before, but if not, we'd offer 351.
And the printing on the check is blurred a little bit. That's where we treated it with New Haven. It causes the ink to run.
It's in the bag.
That's a torn picture.
Do you recall, was that in one of the trash bags? That you
Yes,
know?
sir. It was in the trash bag on the back porch. We saw a picture of it. We'll laid everything out.
Went off at 359. Check these out. They're in the back. 361. Already been introduced in the evidence, but ask if you recognize.
Shannon's 21st birthday picture.
Where were those confiscated?
And the trash bag in the back porch.
$328.
That's the bleach bottle that was on the sink. We saw pictures of it's all-purpose cleaner with bleach. It was on the kitchen sink.
Off of 348, 311. See if you're back. 362.
That's the magazine. It was on the top shelf in the front bedroom.
.362 offering evidence. .363.
Those are 5 cartridge cases that were on the bottom shelf in the front scrub porch. You saw those pictures of them on the bottom shelf.
In the sunroom.
Yes, sir.
Up 363. The evidence. I'll show you 365. If we have to open it, we can.
I can fill a 22 cartridge case in it. You want me to open it?
If you, unless you can identify it, just call it.
No, it's a 22 casing from the top of the refrigerator. A cartridge case.
Put off for 365. Let me show you 349. Do you recognize that?
That's Collateral. It's a Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx DVD.
And is that on the back there? Does that show where that came from?
Marion County Public Library, 201 East Main Street, Lebanon, Kentucky.
Put off for 349 in evidence.
This is the Manchurian Candidate. We saw photographs of it in the bathroom.
Again, on the back there, does that show where
Yes, sir. Marion County Public Library, 501 East Main Street, Lebanon, Kentucky.
Put off for 348.
Correct.
Yes, in the back. 360.
It's the Chan Girl letter that was in the, we saw a picture of.
That was recovered in one of the trash bags.
Yes.
Put off for 360.
One from Ringworm.
.347.
This is the 40-Year-Old Virgin DVD from Marion County Public Library.
Does that show where that was recovered from?
The entertainment center in the living room where the TV was on the shelf up there.
Not for that, it's 347. $357. You recognize what that is?
That is the iPod and the car charger that was in that plastic container between the bed and the wall in the front bedroom. And on the back is engraved Shannon Christian, love you, Mom and Dad.
That's 367. It's already been introduced. 307.
57.
I'm sorry, what?
It's 357.
Oh. Yes, yeah, 357. 307.
That's the garbage bag from, excuse me, the purse from the garbage bag on the back porch.
That's the one that had that white cloth in it.
Yes, sir.
307 is already been introduced. You can just look on the outside and I'll change gloves and pull that out. Can you tell us what that is?
It's the red skirt from the living room.
No, you didn't actually confiscate that, did you?
No, sir, I did not.
Sorry about that. You photographed it?
Yes, sir.
But you all didn't confiscate
No,
that
sir.
day?
No.
$311.
This is the cereal bag that was beside that table in the front living room. That's laying on the floor.
And these green pants were in it?
Yes, sir.
What was that card again? In the boots? $323. Can you tell us what 323 is?
That's a piece of cloth similar to the piece of cloth that we saw in the garbage bag from the back porch.
Okay.
No, the garbage bag in the kitchen, I'm sorry,
So
sir.
that's from that one that was on back in one?
Yes, sir.
We would offer 323.
All right.
What you got?
That's the burn driver's license. Chris Newsom.
Okay, so that was from that gray purse?
Yes, sir.
In the garbage bag?
Yes, sir.
That's 352. $317.
That's the Tennessee hat that was taken out of the garbage bag in the kitchen.
Put off 317. Let's show you 316.
That's the B&F construction cap that was taken out from the garbage bag in the kitchen.
Let me show you 303. You recognize what that is?
Yes, sir. That's the carbine that was in the front, in the closet in the front, north side bedroom.
Thank you. But off of 340. I'm sorry, 303. Yeah, I don't know if I formally moved 352 in evidence or not, but that's the driver's license that has that.
All right, well, all those proper exhibits are in their place in evidence.
Okay. And now, I think we've got our video lined up. If you dim the lights, and we'll, that's exhibit number 346. Put off that into evidence, and that's
All right?
If there's a point here you want us to stop,
Okay, just a second, please. Let me. Okay, all right, go ahead. This is the front of the house. It's one of the first things I did when I arrived on the scene, was just take a video of the crime scene. And this is the front, the shelf in the front room, the glassed-in room. Those where the cartridge cases were, and the gas can. And you can get a close-up. There's one cartridge case, 2, and then 3 and 4 and 5. You can see the 5 cartridge cases. And this is going back, looking into the living room, the front living room. And there's a police radio that doesn't belong there. And there's your comforter and then a blanket, I believe, that was laying under the window. And there's that red skirt we were talking about just a second ago. It was on that table. And there's looking back into the kitchen. And this, we're in the living room right now. And that's looking the door into the front bedroom with that pile of clothes and those other items. And that's the shelf we were talking about earlier. that had the cell phone on it. And right below the shelf was, you can see the Sears bag there that had those pants in it. And the 2 chairs and the TV that's still on in the front of the fireplace. And there's where one DVD was. This is looking back at that window that was covered. And there's a stereo there and another blanket there. And that's just a close-up look of what's on the table. And the mantle on the fireplace. And this is going into the front bedroom. Just a pile of clothes laying in the doorway. And other items on the floor. And there's the vacuum cleaner and the gun case without my kit in there. And there again is a shelf, and you can see where that magazine was and the scales. And those are the 2 cartridge cases and 2 more right there. And there's the accordion door going into the bathroom. And right over there you can see part of the plastic case there. There's the plastic case. And there's a closet going where the rifle was found. And that's just that top shelf, and there's the magazine we were talking about a minute ago. And there's those 2 hats with the driver's license, Social Security card behind them. This is going back into the bathroom, the accordion door, the CD player, and you can see the rear bedroom there. And there's the DVD, the Manchurian Candidate. This is going back into the back bedroom. That's just items in the bathroom floor. This is looking in the sink in the bathroom. And there's on that shelf again. Looking back at the toilet, and there's the front bedroom. And we're backing into the rear bedroom. And there are items in the floor there, and there's a mattress that was deflated or being deflated. And there's that closet we were in a second ago, and the picture on the wall. And just the garbage bags and other pieces of cloth covering the windows. A pillow. Other items in the floor. There's a picture that was on the wall, just showing that window again. There's more items on the floor.
There's actually an accordion door there between the kitchen and that back bedroom.
Excuse me?
There's actually an accordion door
Yes, sir.
on that
There.
back bed, between the back bedroom and the kitchen.
On both doors for the bathroom is an accordion door. And we're looking into the closet now. And that's the panel that was taken out of the attic. And there was an accordion door on the door going from the back bedroom to the kitchen. And there's a refrigerator in the kitchen and a gas can. And there's your sink again. There's the bottle, the cleaning bottle. And that shouldn't be there. That's an investigator's notebook. And there's that trash bag we've seen earlier and the trash can right beside the table. And those are other items that were on the table. And we take the cover off the trash can. You'll see the floral pattern sheet, and there's the arm, Shannon Christian's arm, and there's her head. in the trash can. The lid had been put back on the trash can. We're going into the back utility room now. And there's the microwave and the 2 garbage bags we were talking about earlier. We went through the contents of. And there's the door. The chain lock is off. That's looking out the back door windows. That's back in the kitchen again, the refrigerator. We're walking back through the door into the front, into the living room. And there's that red skirt we looked at a minute ago. And we're going back out the front door now. And I believe that's Waste Connections' yard there. Now we're going around the outside of the house. Just the screens off the windows, but none of the windows are broken and the locks seem to be secure. And this is the west side of the house. That's the front bedroom window, that's the bathroom window, and that's the rear bedroom window. And that's the rear of the house. Another gas can. And the SOS team did go into the crawl space. That's showing the door and the doorknob. It seems to be secure. Now we're on the east side of the house. We're looking toward the front, Chipman Street. And that again is a doorknob on the back of the house. Where entry had not been forced on the door or on the front door either. There's no prime marks. And
Thank you, Officer Cox. Pass the witness.
Good afternoon, Officer Cox.
excuse me.
So good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I think you said that your job was to gather the evidence in this case. Is that right, sir?
I'm one of the ones that gathered evidence in the case. There were, at the original time, there were a few of us out there, and at one time we had TBI come out there to assist in the crime scene processing, and Agent Wagner with the, I believe with ATF, came out also. It was just a lot of agencies combined to do everything we could.
It's because there was a lot of evidence to collect, right?
Yes, sir.
And in fact, I think that there was so much evidence that you had to collect out of that house that you had to call a truck in just to take all the evidence out, right?
When I was speaking earlier, just we called the paddy wagon.
Yes,
It's
sir.
very large. And we carried it all out that way.
And obviously you've got a significant amount of experience in collecting evidence, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
And when you collected the evidence from the house on Chipman Street, you took precautions and you took measures to preserve that evidence, right?
Yes, sir.
You wore gloves,
Yes, sir.
and you made sure that you put evidence in protected bags,
Yes, sir.
and you tagged that evidence to make
Yes.
certain that you could ascertain from where it was located in that house,
Yes, sir.
because you knew that that evidence was going to be forensically tested later.
Yes, sir.
And you took all those measures in this particular case.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. No further questions. Then.
Officer Cox, thank you.
Okay. Leave your pointers.
Next, please.
I think that this time we have a stipulation on some records from the Marion County Public Library. It's Exhibit 367. It would ask to be introduced.
All right. This stipulation just means, members of the jury, that the parties have agreed that this exhibit is admissible and shall be considered by you.
Yes, 367. Do I read it? I should mention, on this 367, Your Honor, the records reflect that the 4 DVDs checked out by George Thomas, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Collateral, Man on Fire, and the Manchurian Candidate. Those are checked out from Marion County Public Library in Kentucky.
All right.
Call Tim Shea.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this case be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this case be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
Please tell us your name and spell your last name.
My name is Timothy Shade. Last name is Schade.
And where are you employed?
The Knoxville Police Department Forensic Unit.
Okay. What's your job title there?
I'm a senior evidence technician.
And are you a civilian or a officer?
I'm a civilian employee.
You go by technician Crenshaw then? Or technician Shea?
Yeah, that's fine.
Or Mr. Shea?
Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Now, back in 2007, January 2007, where were you assigned?
I was in the forensic unit at that time.
And what were your duties with them at that time?
I did a combination of things. I would go out to crime scenes and do the evidentiary things at crime scenes, such as take photos, collect evidence, video, fingerprints, those types of things. Then the second part of my job is I'm a certified latent print examiner, so I would compare latent prints to known prints.
And are you certified by any organization?
It's the International Association for Identification.
Okay, and the same organization that certifies Dan Crenshaw?
Correct, yes.
And what did you have to do to be a member of that?
To become certified, I started being employed by the Knoxville Police Department in the forensic unit in 1989. In 1997, I took an exam that I passed that allowed me to become a certified latent print examiner. And about half the people that take the exam fail it, so it's it's not real easy to attain.
And you have to continue to maintain your qualifications with them,
Yes.
and have annual training every year.
You have to have a certain amount of training. You have to, I believe it's every 5 years now. I'm cleared through 2017. You have to be recertified with an exam that they give you.
This time around, we offer Tim Shea this next print identification.
No, Judge.
Right?
And you've already heard a little bit about it during the reading of Dan Crenshaws' prior testimony and prior hearing. Can you just explain to the jury again what we're talking about? We're talking about print identification. What is it? How do you develop latent prints?
Okay, just a little bit of the process. There's different processes depending on what type of surface that you're trying to get a print off of. So what we typically do, one of the things I do is I teach at the National Forensic Academy, and the week that I teach is latent print development. So I'll try to make this as concise as possible. But what we do is we look at a surface to see if it's a porous or non-porous surface, and that'll help determine what kind of process we use to try to get a print off of it. Now, latent print is something that you typically cannot see on whatever you're trying to print, and you have to use some sort of process to make that print appear. What we use more than anything else is probably just powders. We use magnetic and non-magnetic powder, and it's just the residue that you sweat on the ridges on your fingers, your palms, bottom of your feet. Whenever you touch something, that residue will attach to whatever you touch, whether it's a porous surface like paper or a non-porous surface like metal, painted surface, plastic, glass, anything like that. So typically whenever we have a non-porous surface, what we'll use a lot of times is just powder. In a powder roll process, it'll stick to whatever the residue you touched and left there, and then we use a tape process and lift it, and we'll be able to secure the print that way. Another way we can do it is just by cyanoacrylate fuming, which is just super glue fuming. And you've probably seen this in movies and stuff where what we do is we get what's pretty much a coffee cup warmer, aluminum tin, put the super glue inside of that, inside a chamber. It will fume up and it'll attach itself to the residue that's left there. It was originally thought that it was more of the water that's in your sweat, but it turns out that it's more of the amino acids and salts and some of the fats that are in your sweat. So those are kind of the process we go through. If we have something that's a porous surface, we'll use it's kind of a combination of things that we can use, but what we use more than anything is a chemical called ninhydrin. And ninhydrin crystals we put in a liquid to dissolve. We put that on the paper, and then it reacts with the amino acids in your sweat, and it turns it a nice purpley color. So you can go ahead and get prints off of porous surfaces also.
Are you able to develop latent prints every item that's handled?
Unfortunately, we are not. There's a lot of variables that's involved in that.
What are the variables that might prevent you from developing a latent print off?
It's from the standpoint of the type of residue that the person has on their hands, what kind of ridge detail they have on their hands whenever they touch it, how clean the touch is, if it's a clean touch and release, whether it gets smudged or not. Then after you get to that, what the substrate's like. If the substrate is something that's not dusty, if it's clean, our odds are a little bit better at getting a print. But there's different surfaces that are a little bit more difficult. One of the things, we do a lot of weapons where we super glue a lot of weapons and print a lot of weapons, especially firearms. And a lot of them have that polymer surface that's a little bit textured. And that polymer surface that's textured makes it a little bit more difficult to get prints off of. So there are different things that are a little bit more difficult to get prints off of than others. And also, it's just the limited life of a print. Once you touch something, especially on a non-porous surface, something like a plastic, a metal, something like that, it will sit there, but eventually it will dissolve. So there is a limited life to that print. There's a lot of variables involved to determine if it's a short life or a long life, but there is a limited life. As opposed to a porous surface where you touch paper, that residue will soak into the paper and it will last a long time because it'll soak into the paper. So they've tested paper items that hadn't been touched for maybe 100, 150 years, they're able to get prints off of it because the amino acids have soaked into the fibers of the paper. So there are different options for each one of them, or different variables for each one of them. So prints, whenever you watch it on TV and movies, they get prints on everything they need to get prints off of. In real life, it isn't quite to that point. You know, we do what we can, but there are limitations to it.
Now, let me ask you about some things that you worked on in this case. The Orson magazine. What was your relationship with Dan Crenshaw?
At the time, him and I were part of our ID section. We were both certified latent print examiners. So whenever we go through the phase, what we use is our scientific method is called ACE-V. It stands for analysis, comparison, evaluation, and verification. So whenever we would go through all of those steps in that process, the verification part was always something that the other person would take care of. So all of our prints were verified by at least one other certified latent print examiner.
Let me show you what's been 362, which has been identified before as a magazine from the north bedroom shelf. Did you examine that?
Yes.
And while we got that out, and did you also take pictures of that as well?
I did.
And does that exhibit appear to be the Lorson magazine? What number is that? 362. Does that appear to be the magazine you examined?
Yes, it does.
And pictures 29 through 33. Do those appear to be pictures that you took of your examination?
Yes.
So what are you attempting to document there as you take those pictures?
As you look through the pictures, you'll notice that there's a white residue. The Lorson magazine's it's metal, and it's a dark metal. So whenever we super glue it, the super glue it fumes as a white color. So it works really well with a dark colored object because you get that good contrast. You have the white prints on the dark object. So whenever you're looking at this, you'll be able to see the ridge detail that's on the different parts of the magazine.
What up for 29 through 33? Now, let's take a look at those. Again, 29. Basically, what were your results from looking at this Lorson magazine?
We ended up finding ridge detail that what could be identified, and we compared those identifiable latent prints to the known subjects in the case, and we ended up identifying for Marcus Davidson, we identified his left middle finger, and for Latalis Cobbins, we identified his right middle finger.
So you found Latalis Cobbins and Marcus Davidson's print?
Correct, yes.
And, do you recall where they were on these?
I believe on that one that's on the right above the 2, I believe that's going to be the right middle finger of Cobbins.
33.
And I believe on that one up at the top, I believe that's the spot that's going to be the left middle finger of Davidson.
Now, any of the fingerprint work that you did and that Dan Crenshaw did, are you aware of any latent fingerprints that were matched to defendant George Thomas?
On just this object, or on all? On any objects? We did not identify him on any objects, no.
Thank you.
Now, the trash bags, the jury's already heard a little bit about those as well. Did you work on the trash bags that were taken from the Shannon Shannon Christian's autopsy?
Yeah, yes, they were actually recovered the night before.
I'm sorry, the night before?
They were, I believe the autopsy was done on the 10th, and we recovered them early that morning, so it was early in the morning
I see.
of that nightfall.
And you picked those up from the medical examiner's office, is that right?
Yes,
And took them back and processed them?
yes.
All right. And what was, how did you use the super glue process you were describing with the hot plate with those?
Yes, we did.
What were your results on those?
We ended up getting some prints off of it. It was kind of a long, involved process just because there's pretty good contrast, and it's just searching through all of them with oblique lighting and trying to get the prints to come up, and then cutting out those specific spots. We ended up getting prints on 3 of the 5 bags.
Well, let me show you. .337. That's in a bag. Okay. .337. Can you pull that out and show the jury?
What we would do is these are just quilting loops. So whenever we saw something that looks like it might have enough ridge detail to be able to identify someone, we would cut out that section of them, get a quilting loop that would fit that appropriately, and set it inside the quilting loop, and it keeps it tight, and it makes it easier to photograph and get be able to get better contrast, good depth with your photography.
And so what was your result on bag number 3?
This is off of bag number 3, which is the 3rd bag from the body, and that came back to the left palm of LaMarcus Davidson.
Put off the .337. .339.
And this is another one off of bag number 4, and we ended up getting 3 prints off of bag number 4, and this is one of them, and it was to the right palm of LaMarcus Davidson.
And off the .339. .340.
.340 was another one off of bag number 4, and it was to the left palm of LaMarcus Davidson.
And off the .340. And then .341.
It's another palm print that came back to the right palm of LaMarcus Davidson, and this is also trash bag number 4.
Off the .341. .338.
And this is from bag number 5. It's the furthest exterior bag, and whenever Dan Crenshaw wrote down the information, he wrote it as bag number 1 because he counted it from the outside in, and I counted it from the inside out. So if you see bag number 1 on something like this, if you look at the information that's on this, it's going to actually be bag number 5, which will be the most exterior bag. So I know it's a little confusing, but you have 2 different people doing stuff. Sometimes it's done a little differently.
Did you find any prints on that one?
Oh yes, this one matched the right palm of LaMarcus Davidson.
It's .338. We might have already covered this. I apologize if we have. The remnants after you cut out made those cutting down and put them on the hoops. What did you do with the remnants of those bags?
We would keep the remnants and just package them all together in case there was anything we wanted to do, any other processing or any other testing we wanted to have done. So we have spots that are cut out from it that we collected, but we also kept the bag itself.
And that's 334 you're showing the jury. If that wasn't entered in through Dan Crenshaw, we would also that. I'll have just a moment. And there was also a white plastic bag that was recovered from Ms. Christian's medical examiner's office during that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Let me see if I can find that. You confiscated a number of items, it's fair to say, from the Christian autopsy and helped assist from the Newsom autopsy as well.
Yes.
And what did you do to when you say confiscate? What did you do to do that?
It's just a matter of collecting them from the medical examiner's office, signing them out, taking them back to our office, packaging them up, and then putting them in our property unit, filling out the proper paperwork.
Keeping them secure.
Yes.
And then I take it, would some of them be sent off for testing at, say, the TBI lab
Yes.
or other places?
Yes.
And also processed, just for your work, fingerprinting?
Yes.
Let me show you then 329. What is 329?
329 is a white plastic bag. We cut it up just to be able to view it a little bit better, but this one was near the body also, and the process we use on this is very similar to the ones on the black trash bags. Is we would super glue it. Problem is you have the white on white and you have to have some sort of contrast, and we would either use a dye stain or use black powder, and in this case we use black powder. So a lot of it where you see just this collection, there's not ridge detail there, but there is some sort of liquid that formed there. So whenever we put the powder on it, it collects at that spot where the super glue attached to those areas.
Now, what were your results from your examination on that white bag?
Unfortunately, we did not get any prints from the white bag.
What else for 329? And evidence.
Right.
And let me just talk about some of those things that you were involved in, just confiscating and basically obtaining custody, if you will. You don't necessarily have to pull the garments out if you can recognize from that, looking at it.
Yeah, this is what I described as a white tank top that was taken from the forensic center.
Okay, and that was from the Christian autopsy?
Yes.
The medical exam. That's 309. 310.
And this is going to be a striped shirt that was taken at the same time from the Christian autopsy.
running a little ahead of schedule, Judge, and I haven't got all these sorted. I apologize. Okay, we'll show you 320. That's what you recognize what that is.
Yes, these are pieces of pink fabric that were recovered from the medical examiner's office also.
And again, that's from the Shannon Christian autopsy
Yes.
that you confiscated.
Yes.
It's 320. Let me show you 356.
And this is going to be the sexual assault kit that was taken from the medical examiner's office.
That would have been submitted as part of the DNA to the TBI.
Correct, yes.
Let me show you, okay, let me show you 355. Let's can you recognize what those are.
These look like they're going to be rounds that were recovered from the Newsom autopsy.
I think those were examined within KPD ballistics examination.
Yes, our firearms examiner, yes.
I'll show you 318. You have to open that if you can.
It's a brown leather belt.
You've had to put them in your packaging, is that correct?
Yes. And this was recovered from the Newsom autopsy also.
So that was 318. Let me have you look at 326.
These items are burnt items that were also recovered from the Newsom autopsy, and they are different items. They look more like the floral pattern that kind of matches some of the pink material that was recovered, but it's kind of in that same vein. It's just material that was recovered that is burnt. That's what, whenever we get burnt items, we put them in a sealable paint can, and the sealable paint can has a top on it that allows you to inject a needle in it and extract the gases in there to try to figure out what flammable material was inside it. That's typically what we would store that
So again, that fabric was confiscated from the Newsom autopsy 326.
in. Yes.
And was there some additional fabric recovered from the Canon Christian autopsy?
Yes, this is more material that was inside the trash can from her autopsy.
That's 322. Is that right?
Yep.
Let me show you 343. You know, my haste there, I think I may have, the 3 bullets from the Newsom autopsy are numbered separately. Can you identify, those are the ones that you confiscated from the Newsom autopsy, and tell us what exhibits they are.
Yes, the green numbers. Let's see. Numbers 353, 354, and 355.
I'm being told we covered it all. Thank you for your patience.
Absolutely. There's past 6 of my cross and short.
Okay, good. The pressure's really on you.
Yeah, I know. It's a good afternoon, but good evening now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I think you said that you teach at the National Forensic Academy. Is that correct?
Yes.
And obviously, you are someone who has a significant amount of experience in conducting fingerprint examinations, right?
Yes.
And you're so experienced that you teach others how to do it, right, sir?
Yeah, what I do there is more latent print development than it is actual comparisons, and there's just a small segment for comparisons itself. But yeah.
And latent print development, that means recovering prints from evidence, right, sir?
Yes.
You did not locate or were not able to identify any prints of George Thomas on any of the evidence that was collected and tested, correct?
That's correct.
And Dan Crenshaw was not able to identify any prints of George Thomas on any of this evidence that was collected and tested.
That's correct.
No further questions, Judge?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And members of the jury, thank you for your patience and attention today, and I'm going to turn you back over to the officers, and we'll begin again at 9 in the morning. I hope you have a pleasant evening, and see you at 9 in the morning. Thanks again.
Thank you, folks. You're with me to the jury.
It struck me that the record should reflect one thing, and that is that Mr. Jenkins is African American, because I don't know, there could be a possible issue on appeal about the identification of the race of the 4 passengers in the vehicle, and it might be relevant that he himself is African American. So, and there's no way for the Court of Appeal to know that unless someone states it for the record. Okay, thank you. 9 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Tom? Some of those I just decided same time.
No, I think those were the only ones. I thought we introduced that bank operation. It may have been through.
No, I do need to.
Okay.